Oh, it's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be mine? Won't you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Look at them Crypto Night GPU numbers on the 6500 XT and 6750 XT. Hello and welcome to the Crypto Mining Show, your one-stop shop for all cryptocurrency news from the perspective of a cryptocurrency miner. I go by Blind Run on the internet and Matthew in real life. Today, we're going to be talking about some channel stuff, basically channel news. What are we doing with the channel? Then we have the GTX 1630 leak. What? A 1630? I'm excited. Where's the 3030? That would be a cool one. Then we have basically a memory bus upgrade for Navi 3, surprisingly enough. ETC comes out in support of the great Ethereum hash rate migration. Only took them 3 weeks. And then we have Vitalik Buterin and his contradictions. He had a thread yesterday on Twitter. And basically, it's super interesting. So we're going to get into that. And then we'll be covering a little bit of the market. Obviously, the market is tanking today. I feel like tanking is always the same thing. It goes down to 29,000, then it goes over 30,000, and people get bullish again. But this is what a bear market feels like. All right, so don't get too freaked out. It's fine. And then, of course, after that, we'll be covering mining profitability for the day. If you were on Crazy Pool, congratulations. What a day we had. Insane. Let's turn the power up. Turn the power up. Before we get into it, here's a word from today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is Crypto.com. Crypto.com is my go-to centralized exchange for liquidating my crypto assets. With their Crypto.com Visa debit card, I can load up my mined Ethereum to pay for power and other operating costs quickly while earning up to 8% cash back. In addition to the Visa debit card, there are additional fiat options, including wire transfers, to easily receive your profits. Crypto.com also offers additional services, including trading and even staking, to earn additional revenue on your investments. Join 10 million plus users buying and selling 100 plus cryptocurrencies at true cost by using my affiliate link in the description for a $25 funding bonus. Or enter referral code SOAT at sign up for the same bonus. Remember, cryptocurrency investment comes with significant risks, so do your own research. Welcome back, everybody. So first things first, because we're doing the live stream, I wanted to be clear on some things that we're changing up. We're putting clips on a clips channel. I'm going to link that to you guys. You can also still access it from the main YouTube channel. The reason for this is because some of y'all watch the entire live show all the way through. Now, the theory is that we also want to reach the people that, don't want to watch the entire live stream. And this is a debate that I've been kind of trying to figure out for quite some time, because obviously the core audience, which is you who's here right now watching the entire live stream or watching it later and watching the entire live stream in its entirety, may get a little annoyed with double content getting thrown into your sub box, and that can make things a little bit difficult. But even then, sometimes some of y'all still want to watch like maybe one clip or just share a specific clip from the live show, and I still want to facilitate that. Now, we had talked about it before. We kind of laid off. We had done some votes. It was voted that we keep them on the main channel, but it wasn't voted by a lot. Now, the problem is, of course, from my perspective, is none of the clips will be monetized until we hit 1,000 subs on that channel and 4,000 watch hours. I have basically someone that's going to be taking over the clips, which is going to be freeing up my time to essentially create a dedicated video per day for the YouTube channel over here. So I've been kind of lacking on that because I've been spending a couple hours a day clipping, uploading to Spotify, getting the podcast ready, all that. And then I just am, by the time I'm done, I'm like, oh crap, where did the day go? So that's going to alleviate that so that I can do one dedicated video and the crypto mining show every day, right? Monday through Friday. I'm going to try to have content on the weekend as well. And so we'll have a couple dedicated videos on the weekend. So no repeat content on this channel. If that's something that's been bugging you, it's resolved. If you still want to watch the crypto mining clips, then you can head on over to this channel, which I will link you guys right now. And it's just called Crypto Mining Show Clips. And you can sub over there. Your sub over here would be greatly appreciated because we need to hit those numbers. Now, the person doing the clips is going to be incentivized by getting this channel monetized. Okay. They're going to be responsible for thumbnails, descriptions, linking, all that. From this page, you can also access all of the crypto mining morning shows as well. That will still be on the main channel, the Son of a Tech channel though. Okay. That being said too, that does mean, obviously, over here yesterday, we started this process. The RX 6750 XT hash rates video review is out. I'm going to copy that link and share that for you guys as well. So there you go. You can head on over to that video and watch it. No repeat content for you guys. If you want the repeat content, you can go do the clip channel. And the goal eventually, I think here is going to be building up the clips channel to a point to where there's enough of you on that we move the entire live show over there, and then Son of a Tech goes back to primarily how-tos. That may take forever. I'm not really sure that we'll ever get there, and I'm debating on how this all goes. I am also going to be working specifically with, now YouTube has assigned me an actual dedicated partner manager, which it's taking me 12 years to get. So I actually have a physical person that I have seen on video from Google helping me. So hopefully I will be able to bring you guys better content, more targeted content, all that sort of stuff, things that you're interested in. And of course, the number one thing is you guys letting me know what you appreciate by hitting the like, comment, and subscribe button. If you had not been putting on notification bells because of the clips, go ahead and please hit the notification bell down below now. We aren't going to have that clip problem anymore over here, okay? Thanks, everybody. Let's get into the first topic for today. And that is NVIDIA could soon launch the GeForce GTX 1630. NVIDIA is set to introduce the GeForce GTX 1630 to combat the entry-level offer from AMD. The GTX 1630 could be the first X30 model in the GTX series. Thus far, we have seen cards such as the GT 730 or the GT 1030. See, back in the day, last bear market when I couldn't afford GPUs, we actually did an 8x GT 1030 rig build. Definitely go check that one out because that's fun and not profitable and was a terrible idea, but fun, so it doesn't matter. But those are very old solutions already. Meanwhile, NVIDIA's latest GTX touring card, the 1650, was released in April of 2019, so more than 3 years ago. With the surging GPU prices, NVIDIA has seemingly abandoned the low-end market. The company launched its RTX 3050 desktop card in January this year, so 14 months after the first Ampere models made a debut. However, with its $249 USD launch price and over $330 USD actual retail price, this model is still out of the reach for many gamers. AMD, who released the Radeon RX 6500 XT and RX 6400 cards around the same time, know that NVIDIA has a problem with the low-end GPU market. The company recently launched a marketing campaign demonstrating AMD Radeon RX 6000 series value in comparison to the GeForce RTX 30 and GTX 16 and 10 series. Here in the low-end market, the gap between AMD and NVIDIA pricing is much noticeable. especially considering that those cards were not designed for heavy ray tracing packed gaming. And then you can see 1080p max. You have the 6600 at $330, and then the 3050 at $330. And then you had 90 FPS at 1080p on the 6600, while on the 3050 you only had 64 frames per second. So you had 40% more frames per second per dollar on the 6600. At the 6500 XT price point of $199, and you had the GTX 1650 at $190. The 6500 XT did 84 frames per second at 1080p max, with the 1650 doing 67 frames per second. Now, the power consumption is much better on the 1650, but you're talking about a 19% increase in frame rate. Obviously, for gamers, they're not going to worry that much about 30 watts or so. At 1080p medium, you had the RX 6400 at $160, which undercut the 1050 Ti, which is the competitor at this price range, by $32 and beat it by 89% more frames per second per dollar. So obviously, NVIDIA was doing what? Telling all the gamers they're going to put light hash rate locks in to keep the price low, but on the back end, selling to miners and not disclosing it to the SEC. That's what NVIDIA has been doing, my friends. That is what they've been doing. They have been completely focused, let's be honest, on the crypto mining market while holding up this front facing of being for gamers, when clearly, if we look at what their offerings are at the low end, which low end is very important for gamers. I want to make that clear. Like, low end 1080p is extremely important, especially 1080p 60 FPS is extremely important for first time builders, for kids. Like, I'm not going to build my 11-year-old, right, a rig with an RTX 3090 in it. Like, why would I do that? That's silly. Or an RX 6900 XT. They're going to get a 1080p Acer monitor for $120 with like maybe a nice little i3 processor in there that clocks high and something to play Secret Neighbor, Minecraft, and Roblox. Who's been failing at supplying that segment? Clearly NVIDIA. According to our information, GeForce GTX 1630 is set to replace the GTX 1050 Ti, so it would likely cost less than $190 US. At the moment, the specs of the GTX 1630 are unknown, but one could expect a TU117 touring model with a sub 75 watt power requirement and updated GDDR6 memory. The GTX 1650 series features as many as 5 models already, including the TU106, TU116, and TU117 based, and even a super variant. However, not all of these cards are available in every market, and the same principle could apply to the GTX 1630. The information about the 1630 has only been available for a couple days, but we have double confirmed that it is indeed planned. Now, what would be interesting, of course, is a sub 75 watt with GDDR6 memory for entry-level miners. Sure, right? That might be fun. It'll be a fun one to test at least, because faster memory is always nice. And depending on the memory size and the memory speed, which I would assume would be 16 gigabits per second, and probably like a 96-bit bus or something along those lines. Knowing NVIDIA, it may be a slightly larger bus, maybe a 128-bit. That would be amazing. But it's yet to be seen, and we'll have to go ahead and sit back and wait and see what they end up releasing. And maybe you have a budget mining card to play around with. Probably not. That being said, though, we do have good news on the mining front for RDNA 3, potentially. We have increased bus sizes. Originally, we were expecting a 256-bit bus at the top end, with AMD leveraging and leaning on Infinity Cache to make up the performance difference on the memory with, of course, NVIDIA and their large bus sizes. I like big buses, and I cannot lie, let's take a look. AMD RDNA 3 flagship Navi 31 GPU rumored to offer up to 384-bit bus and 24 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory. Navi 32 gets a 256-bit bus for up to 16 gigabytes of memory. AMD RDNA 3 powered Navi 3 GPUs are now rumored to feature an updated memory layout, with the flagship offering the same VRAM as NVIDIA's RTX 4090 graphics card. The rumor is pretty straightforward and comes once again from GreyMoon55. There have been recent reports from Red Gaming Tech that AMD's flagship Navi 31 GPU will be equipped with a bigger 384-bit bus interface compared to the previously speculated 256-bit bus, which was valid but only when the previous specifications were being talked about. It looks like the updated specs lowered the core count but increased the overall memory layout that the flagship RDNA 3 GPUs have to offer. Now remember, we don't have a 384-bit bus on AMD yet, and this is going to be extremely interesting on the gaming side of things too, as they leverage essentially the Infinity Cache to increase the total bandwidth, which projected on a 256-bit bus was going to be up to 1.7 terabytes a second. Now with the new Infinity Cache, and obviously this is all rumor and speculation, and a 384-bit bus, you could be talking over, potentially, at least on the gaming side, and as long as the drivers work, which is questionable and blah, 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 but speculation for fun, over 2 terabytes a second of memory bandwidth. No matter what, this is probably good news for miners. Now, we did see, of course, with the refresh, RDNA 2 refresh and the faster GDDR6 memory, it didn't translate into better mining performance on memory-intensive algorithms, at least at this point. The reasoning for this, best I can tell, is that they're pushing that GDDR6 memory to higher speeds, which is requiring the basically loosening of the memory timings. This is pretty common, and that is probably why, without any sort of modifications to the mining software and so on, it seems to be getting nerfed there. No, it's not an intentional nerf, that, from what I can tell, by any means. It is just probably the loosening of timings on that memory and not having any sort of specific miners ready for the refresh. Hopefully we see better mining performance, but it is important to bring that up, basically the disappointment in the refresh from that perspective when we're talking about bigger buses and mining projections for RDNA 3, because it's potential there, or there is potential there for not having as much, right? So let's continue on and see here if they have any more information for us. The AMD Navi 31 GPU, the flagship RDNA 3 chip, would power the next-gen enthusiast cards such as the Radeon RX 7900 XT graphics card. We have heard that AMD will drop compute units in favor of work group processors on its next-gen RDNA 3 GPUs. Each work group processor will house dual compute units, but with twice the SIMD32 clusters, or SIMD32 clusters, as opposed to just 2 on each compute unit with RDNA 2. Rumors are that AMD has the option to select between Samsung and TSMC for the 6nm die. According to the latest information, the AMD Navi 31 GPU with RDNA 3 architecture is expected to offer a single GCD with 48 work group processors, 12 SAs, and 6 SEs. This will give out a total of 12,288 stream processors, which is lower than the previous count. This will also drop the overall compute performance unless AMD goes crazy with over a 3 gigahertz clock frequency, which, if we looked at the RDNA 2 refresh, we were seeing, easily, like out of the box, 2,700 megahertz, so 2.7 gigahertz. It's not out of the realm of possibility that RDNA 3 is going to crack 3 gigahertz on the processor. That is not out of the realm of possibility. However, we are going to be seeing a much different architecture with essentially the multi-core processors, right? So it's going to be a little bit different. or what is it called? Multi-module or whatever, right? So they take that into account as well as changing it up. But, you know, we are hitting really high clock speeds right now. And so the Navi 31 GPU will also carry 6 MCDs. There you go, multi-core dies, I believe is the term I was searching for just a second ago, which will feature 64 megabytes of infinity cache per die and are also likely to carry the 64-bit, 32-bit times 2 memory controllers that will provide the chip with a 384-bit bus interface. And so we do have some layouts here as far as the architecture goes. And you can kind of see essentially the infinity cache, infinity cache, infinity cache, infinity cache. And then you have your compute die and the 6 SEs and the 48 workgroup processors and blah, blah, blah. And then you step down to 32 workgroup processors, and you step down to 16 workgroup processors. And no infinity cache on the low end there, not really sure. The Navi 31 RDNA 3 MCDs will be linked to a single GCD via a next generation Infinity Fabric interconnect and feature a 256 to 384 megabytes of infinity cache. Considering the latest memory design, next generation Navi 31 GPUs can be equipped with up to 24 gigabytes of VRAM, the same memory capacity as the upcoming and existing flagships from NVIDIA, the RTX 3090 and 4090. The newer memory spec can be seen as a reduction over the previously rumored 32 gigabyte memory, but it's definitely going to help tone down the pricing of the card, and having parity with NVIDIA while Infinity Cache is in the play can deliver competitive performance in higher resolution gaming. And lower resolution gaming too for Infinity Cache, to be fair. I guess it does impact the higher resolution too. But as we've experienced the first iterations of Infinity Cache, we saw higher frame rates in traditional rasterization over NVIDIA at lower resolutions like 1080p, for example. The AMD Navi 32 GPU is also one of the 2 MCM multi-chip module. Golly! We messed up a lot today. It's fine. MCD is multi-cache die. MCM is multi-chip module. And to make that clear, if we looked up here, the multi-cache die, dun, 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 and then multi-chip module down here with the workgroup processors. I got it. It's fine. We're going. The die is very similar to the flagship Navi 31 GPU, but has one less shader engine across each die. The AMD Navi 32 GCD is expected to utilize TSMC's 5nm process node, while the MCD will be based on the 6nm process node. The GCD will be equipped with 4 shader engines, and each shader engine has 2 shader arrays, 4 in total. Each shader array is composed of 4 workgroup processors, 8 per shader engines, 32 in total, and each workgroup processor features 8 SIMD32 units with 32 ALUs. That's 32 SIMD32 per your shader arrays, 64 per your shader engines, engines, and that is 128 in total. These SIMD32 units combine to make up to 8,192 cores in total. The Navi 32 MCDs will be linked to the GCD via a next generation Infinity Fabric interconnect and feature a rumored 256 megabytes of infinity cache. Each MCD should also feature 2 memory connect links, 32-bit. That's a total of 8 32-bit memory controllers for a 256-bit bus interface. The graphics chip should provide up to 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory, the same amount as the existing Navi 21 GPUs, but 33% higher memory capacity than the Navi 22 GPUs. This would bring the performance of the AMD Radeon RX 7700 series above the RX 6800 and RX 6900 series, offering one big leap in graphics horsepower in games. This would also pump up the power numbers, as the RX 6700 XT is currently rated at 230 watts, but that could go up to 270 to 300 watts. There have been several rumors stating that the upcoming RDNA 3 GPUs are going to outperform whatever NVIDIA has to offer in terms of rasterization performance and power efficiency. It looks like AMD will take the lead by offering the first multi-chip module-powered GPUs under its Radeon RX 7000 series graphics card lineup. There are also rumors about 3D stacking on the flagship Navi 31 GPUs, and the launch is currently expected in the second half of 2022. I am extremely excited for RDNA 3. From like a tech nerd perspective, multi-chip modules on here, that's how they caught up with to Intel with Ryzen to a certain extent in a similar fashion. The Infinity Cache is getting really, really large, making it extremely interesting. The clock speeds are going through the roof. As far as mining, do I know if it will perform great? Because of all of the changes going on and the reworking the architecture, it's probably going to take some time before people catch up to actually being able to develop software for it. And I feel like the mining side is going to take longer to catch up, especially as we hit these bear markets, right? So unless there's some sort of sneaky trick in the drivers that are popping out to increase and provide this to basically legacy software without modifications to the software, I think we're going to see decent hash rates, right? With an upgrade to 384-bit bus at the top end, we're going to see closer to that 100 mega hash a second, provided there's not something wonky going on like there was with the RDNA 2 refresh. But there is probably a lot more potential within the cards if you're able to utilize everything, and it's just time will tell, right? Let's get into Ethereum Classic coming out and asking miners to move to their network post Ethereum merge. I keep hearing crazy comments from people like Ethereum Classic is probably going to change their algorithm and stuff like that. We've already read one blog post from them saying they're not going to. We have yet another one. ETH hash miners migrating to ETC hash post Ethereum merge. This was released yesterday. Also, they posted this in the Ethereum, the great Ethereum hash rate migration Discord channel, which you can check out the link down in the description for. But they don't even mention our migration in the blog post. So whoever wrote the blog post, I mean, come on. Give it. Link that down there. So it's, we can get more people and test when we test Ethereum Classic. First off, welcome to Ethereum Classic. Thank you for securing the original Ethereum network launched in 2015. Ethereum Classic has a long-term commitment to proof-of-work consensus. By the way of the core developer call 22, the Ethereum Classic network publicly signals continued support for the ETC hash mining algorithm through the foreseeable future. This reaffirms Ethereum Classic's principles of fostering a decentralized proof-of-work mining ecosystem. This confirms a continued long-term commitment to the current mining ecosystem participants and their GPU and ETC hash ASIC equipment. Welcome, disenfranchised ETH hash miners. The Ethereum Foundation is expected to migrate its EVM network to proof-of-stake consensus in Q2 of 2022 through an event labeled The Merge. We recommend planning your equipment migration to ETC hash prior to the merge. The Ethereum Classic Discord has an active mining community to help you in your transition planning. This merge event will disenfranchise the largest EVM's proof-of-work mining ecosystem. Ethereum Classic is well positioned to absorb much of this abandoned ETH hash rate. However, ETH hash miners might not realize that Ethereum Classic operates a modified version of ETH hash called ETC hash. In November of 2020, the ETC hash mining algorithm was activated on Ethereum Classic mainnet with the Thanos upgrade. This upgrade slowed the growth rate of the DAG. This has allowed GPU miners to operate their equipment longer on ETC hash than ET hash. This assured Ethereum Classic would absorb any mining equipment obsoleted by ET hash's DAG growth rate and organically grow Ethereum Classic's base level network hash rate. Note, ET hash ASICs will likely need a firmware update for ETC hash compatibility. Please contact your manufacturer and request an official firmware release for ETC hash compatibility. Additionally, some mining communities have already developed custom firmware for updating ASIC equipment to ETC hash. New ETC hash miners will find comfort in knowing that Ethereum Classic made a long-term commitment to proof-of-work consensus through the network's die-hard upgrade in 2018. If you're new to ETC mining ecosystem, you found a long-term home on Ethereum Classic, a battle-tested network where you can properly plan your mining business, capital, and operational expenditures around a predictable monetary policy and a stable network that is widely integrated throughout the cryptoverse. The Ethereum Classic Discord has an active mining community to help you in your transition planning. Please enjoy the conversation. Here's the monetary policy or clarification. New participants on the Ethereum Classic network may want to familiarize themselves with ETC's fixed monetary policy and the 5M20 emission schedule via ECIP 1017. A visual countdown and chart of 5M20 emission schedule can be found at ETC is .money. And this one was important because basically some people kind of get confused because they do what's called a fifthening. They don't cut the reward in half. They cut it by a fifth. And then they have their emission schedule here. Basically, the next era, though, starts in 740 days. So we have quite some time before the next fifthening. The most recent one just happened here not too long ago. It's been covered to death at this point by other mining channel, so we'll go ahead and pass on it. But looking for group Ethereum Classic, welcome aboard. Let's talk about Ethereum. Vitalik Buterin yesterday on Twitter created a thread. It's very interesting to say the least, and it's a little hard to interpret tone, so I'm going to be very careful in how I basically respond or react to a lot that's going on here. There's some very interesting points surrounding, I think, layer one. And I know lately I've been talking a lot more about layer one, and I think like keeping layer one basically future-proof, sound money, and then building everything else on top of that with your layer twos and your layer threes, right? So layer two maybe being something like your NFT marketplace, or a separate sidechain, Polygon Matic, that sort of thing, right? Your layer three, would be more of like the NFT marketplace. It depends on if it's decentralized or not. Anyways, layer three would be like essentially your exchanges and so on. Somewhere where you don't control the keys, that sort of thing. It goes even further too. I guess you could say there's a layer 4 with something like Robinhood where you don't control your keys and you can't withdraw, which is like, I don't think needed at all. I think you kind of stop at that layer 3, but that's my opinion. I've heard arguments for layer 4, but I also don't think layer 4 is something that's really in the discussion. I'm not even sure that's the term that would be used for it. Vitalik says in a thread yesterday, or I guess it was May 16th, 2 days ago. Thread, some still open contradictions in my thoughts and my values that I've been thinking about, but still don't feel like I've fully resolved. Contradiction 1 is between my desire to see Ethereum become a more Bitcoin-like system, emphasizing long-term stability, including long-term stability and stability, including culturally, and my realization that getting there requires quite a lot of active, coordinated, short-term change. You know, once you've gone so far Ethereum, I think, has, as far as the stability of Bitcoin, is primarily because it hasn't been messed with as much. And once you've gone so far as to already mess with Ethereum to the point that it's been messed with, we can go back and say the turning point was the DAO, right? Once you've messed with it so much, I feel like it's too late. Maybe you could reorganize it. And I see here that he's like, it would require a lot of coordinated short-term change. What are those short-term changes? Does he talk about proof of work? Not really here, but let's kind of continue on. That's just kind of my initial thoughts on that first one. Contradiction between my preference for reducing reliance on individuals and trying to build fixed systems that can stand the test of time, and my appreciation of live players and their role in helping the world move forward. I think this is specifically going to be tied to people working on Ethereum. And to be frank, in general, if you're going to have an ecosystem where you have some sort of control, or you're going to have a blockchain that has some sort of overseeing body, you are naturally just going to have to work with other people. And that is the way it's going to function. But even if we went back to Bitcoin, remember we had talked about, Satoshi Nakamoto and his work with like Anderson and all of that. And Bitcoin definitely had to coordinate with other people as well. Like this is a people problem that exists outside of blockchain as well, from my perspective, right? Contradiction between my desire to see Ethereum become an L1, which is layer 1 for the uninitiated, that can survive truly extreme circumstances, and my realization that many key apps on Ethereum already rely on far more fragile security assumptions than anything we consider acceptable in Ethereum protocol design. And case in point here, I point you guys to the recent DNS hack of QuickSwap. And the fact that a lot of these applications, a lot of DeFi, a lot of NFTs, a lot of the entry points into the Ethereum dApp ecosystem goes through traditional Web 2.0 interfaces. And that means that your traditional Web 2.0 vulnerabilities are there. And I do think because a lot of the younger generation that is getting into developing for blockchain and so on is not maybe as well versed, is why we're seeing a lot of very basic attacks. Like the QuickSwap one is easily preventable if you had any sort of experience within Web 2.0, I suppose, or just basically any sort of cloud infrastructure, any sort of website experience. Like it was easily preventable. And so I get the point there, right? And I agree when he specifically says like Ethereum to become an L1 that can survive truly extreme circumstances. Like he's blaming this problem that we discussed, like with the QuickSwap or whatever. I don't want to click this, but he's blaming that, but it's a much more fundamental problem. It's a fundamental problem of the changing of the monetary policy early on with DAO and reversing, of course, the transactions. It's a problem of building smart contracts into, of course, layer 1. This is going to be part of the problem that doesn't allow it to survive extreme circumstances. This is the reason why a lot of Bitcoin maxis, just to be clear, and what you'll hear from Michael Saylor as well, don't want changes to block sizes and for like the block size wars of Bitcoin. They don't want to see Bitcoin revamped into proof of stake because that will compromise it. They don't want to see Bitcoin have a lot of these changes. There's no need for smart contracts on Bitcoin either, right? And you can't, and part of that is because you want it to survive for a long, long time. So everything needs to be sound and simplified on that layer 1. And this is also part of my problem with projects like Ravencoin. And I know I'm going to get a lot of crap for it, but as soon as the layer 1 gets more stuff built into it, it becomes less stable, right? So Ravencoin, for example, building NFTs into layer 1, cool idea, right? But what you're doing is just adding more instability into that layer one. And that is kind of the arguments that you'll get from a lot of Bitcoin maxis as well, right? So it's important to understand these too. Contradiction between my love for things like decentralization and democracy and my realization that in practice I agree with intellectual elites more than the quote, the people, end quote, on many things. Specific policy issues. I don't feel like I have to say anything. I think we all know the problem here. What is the point of cryptocurrency? Or the fundamentals if we look at Bitcoin, right? Enable peer-to-peer transactions without the interference of banks or governments. What is Vitalik telling us here specifically? He's telling us that he agrees with the intellectual elites more than the people. You're a dummy. And you don't deserve any sort of sovereignty. I will decide what you can and can't do, what you should and should not do. I will tell you what to do because I am an intellectual elite and I alone hold the key to all your problems and I will fix them with policy. And we'll use Ethereum to do it. Contradiction between my desire to see more countries adopting radical policy experiments, example, crypto countries, and my realization that the governments most likely to go all the way on such things are more likely to be centralized and not friendly to diversity internally. Here's the thing that I wanted to point out here, because like I said, I've been getting into the sovereign individual. I'm on my second playthrough of it. I'm doing the audio book because I am a dummy and I don't read. It's fine. You know, that you guys can tell that it's fine. But one of the things that's interesting is like, if we look at the type of countries that are adopting cryptocurrency, and I think this is all part of a transformation into eventually the dissolution of nation states to a certain extent. I'm not saying go out and like get rid of all nation states. I'm just saying like the natural progress of this transformation that's pushing us in this direction. What type of countries are doing this? It's typically like economically disenfranchised countries that are leaning on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency to essentially give themselves a stronger position in the international stages. And so it's almost basically a mirror to what will happen with the individual in the same circumstances moving forward. And so I understand what he's saying as far as this goes. I don't think that they have enough money to make the impact. I think what they are doing is enabling their own freedom from other international influences. And I think it's a good thing. I think it's part of the transformation that's going on, right? That's kind of some of my thoughts. Contradiction between my desire to see more diversity and interesting cultures and my realization that maintaining a culture that's distinct from the mainstream seems to often require some kind of insanity or artificial barrier or similar thing that I ideologically dislike, which I don't really actually, that one I don't have any comment on. You guys can let me know in the comment section or the live chat if you have a comment on that one. Contradiction between my dislike of many modern financial blockchain applications, $3 million monkeys, etc., and my grudging appreciation for the fact that stuff is a big part of what keeps the crypto economy running and pays for all my favorite cool DAO governance experiments. Yeah, the monkeys pay for the devs to do whatever they want whenever they want. That's pretty much the key point there. What is the point, though, of the NFT marketplace at the end of the day, to be fair, is to enable individuals to basically be able to buy and sell artistic means, whatever it may be. Has it gotten out of hand and out of control? I think so. I think it's a little ridiculous personally, right? So I agree with him as far as there. I think he's on point there. I understand that contradiction. You know, from the miner's perspective, it's like, oh, like these people just spending all this money on monkeys, making all this money while I'm trying to power the networks and do the work, right? But at the same time, it creates all those fees and you get paid more. So I understand the contradiction perfectly there. I can relate to that one. Contradiction between my desire for crypto to grow beyond finance and my realization that finance, including payments and SOV, is still by far the most successful category of crypto apps, especially among third world residents, human rights activists, and vulnerable people generally. This goes back to, of course, us talking about the types of countries that are adopting Bitcoin nationally, right? Contradiction between my desire to maximally simplify L1. Ooh, we brought up simplifying L1 before. And my desire to maximally simplify the whole ecosystem, as a simple L1 often exports its complexity to higher layers of the stack that users have to adopt anyways. And no, it's not, there doesn't have to be a contradiction here. You can just give up control of layer 2. That's what you can do. You can let them take care of it, bro. And you can simplify layer 1. And I think that you should do that because it's clearly working for Bitcoin, right? Anyways, that's what I think. Contradiction between my desire to be positive, some mediator figure that can be everyone's friend, and my desire to stand strongly with good against evil, those times when true evil is what we face. Bro, I mean, the biggest problem with Ethereum is the fact that you're doxxed and you take the lead. And it's not for the people, but it's for the devs and the foundation. That's the biggest problem with Ethereum. Ego is the biggest problem with Ethereum. In a fun reply that I did want to bring up, though, too, Charles Hoskinson, quickly becoming one of my favorites on the Twitter sphere, replied and said, "It's not too late to come to Cardano. Leave it to Cardano to pop in wherever they can." Look at me, I'm Cardano. Hey, is there a popular thread? Check out ADA. Hey, yeah, Cardano, ADA, buy it. Use it. It's better. Everywhere. It's like the Ravencoin guys in mining. Are you upset with Ethereum? Mine Ravencoin. Ravencoin's the best. Ravencoin's the best. Ravencoin. 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 All right, I'm done. Let's talk about Bitcoin back below 30K. It's at 28,000 right now. Bitcoin back below 30K as target shortfall shows inflation hitting economy. Good morning and welcome to First Mover. I'm Brad Cohen, here to take you through blah, blah, blah. We just want to know what happened. Price point. Bitcoin dipped under $30,000 in European hours on Wednesday amid a retreat across traditional markets. U.S. traders and analysts assess the potential economic ramifications of the U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell's pledge Tuesday to keep tightening pressure on financial conditions until inflation shows signs of weakening. I got a newsflash for you. Inflation ain't going to go away, and it's not going to weaken. I just don't see that happening. I think it's time to pay the piper. I think you guys did this to us. I'm just saying. And by you guys, I mean the government. I think that, well, the Fed. Look, those who print the money create the inflation. That's it. We got to pay up. Bitcoin slide over the past few days is setting it up to extend a 7-week losing streak. already the longest in a trading history that dates back to the early 2010s. The cryptocurrency has suffered from a downturn in broader markets, stricter crypto regulations, waning retail interest, and systemic risk in the crypto sector. Major cryptocurrencies followed Bitcoin's slide in the past 24 hours. Polkadot's DOT lost as much as 6%, while Avalanche, BNB, XRP, and Ether lost 2.2%. Doesn't seem that bad, to be honest. Tron was among the few in the green, buoyed by positive sentiment around its ecosystem stablecoin USDD. It is really weird to be seeing Tron doing so well lately. I felt like it was dying, but it's not anymore. So there's that. In traditional markets, U.S. stocks were poised for declines on Wednesday based on the direction of futures trading, with weakness appearing as a disappointing earnings report from Target sent the giant retailer's shares plunging more than 22%. Inflation is forcing consumers to spend more on food and less on discretionary items. More on gas, bro. I spent like $100 yesterday. It's bad. I'm riding my motorcycle everywhere. Just saying. I'm done with it. Unless I got to get kids. With Bitcoin now regularly trading in sync with U.S. stocks, what happens in trading traditional markets and the bricks and mortar economy bleeds over to crypto. Higher interest rates tend to negatively affect company earnings who borrow money to run their businesses. With rates on consumer loans such as mortgages also on the rise, households are additionally left with lower disposable incomes, which in turn causes a ripple effect in the broader economy. Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to get memberships over here on YouTube when you click that join button and get access to Rocket Chat. Obviously, when inflation's hitting and you got to spend all that money on, gas, you can't give me money for no reason. And I need money for no reason because I'm a YouTuber and I don't contribute to society. While such scenarios could take months to play out, stock traders are already pricing in the anticipation of lower earnings, which leads to a drop in equity valuations. On Wednesday, for example, U.S. futures on S&P 500 dropped to 0.4%, while technology-heavy NASDAQ dropped to 0.6%. European markets showed nominal movement as Germany's DAX rose less than 0.1%, while Stoxx 600 slid 0.1%. Such market moves come after the Fed's Powell said Tuesday that the agency remained committed to reducing inflation concerns and could use aggressive measures to ensure a strong economy. Quote, "What we need to see is inflation coming down in a clear and convincing way. And we're going to keep pushing until we see that," end quote, Powell said at a Wall Street Journal event. Yeah, can you tell me the details on how you're going to do that? Are you going to stop printing money or stop sending money to Ukraine? Are you going to invest in the economy in the United States in some meaningful manner? Or are you just going to keep doing the same old thing? Are you just going to print money and hope the problem goes away? Is that what's happening? Also, when is Bitcoin going to finally be realized and we don't have to deal with this BS anymore? Golly, dude. Quote, "Achieving price stability, restoring price stability is an unconditional need. Something we have to do because really the economy doesn't work for workers or for businesses or for anybody without price stability. Bitcoin is traded similarly to a risky technology stock in the past months, with correlations reaching almost 1-to-1 with the S&P 500. Some market observers suggest a further correction could take place if current market conditions continue. Quote, "Markets have been expecting the hikes for some time now, and it looks like the expectations are already in the charts," said Anton Gulin, regional director at crypto exchange AAX, in a Telegram message. Quote, "The movement of Bitcoin and the NASDAQ is rather correlated as well for a couple months." Let's get into mining profitability for the day. We are wrapped up on that. Go check out the trading analysis channels to give you the doom and gloom or the positivity surrounding individual cryptos as they stare at charts that mean nothing if the Fed is printing money. Let's get into Ethereum profitability for the day. Look, I'm telling you guys, something wild happened. I'm sitting here yesterday. We started mining on Crazy Pool, and I'm like, why did I get a 0.03 payout? Then I got a 0.05 payout. I'll show you guys that. And then our unpaid balance for the day, 0.079 Ethereum. And that's on an average 6 hour of 5.7 gigahash. Bro, Papa Lip is donating 338 megahash a second. So I wanted to thank him again. I thought he was going to turn off, but we got a little extra here. I was like, why are we up? Because I'm usually around 5.5. So there you go. Pretty cool. I do have a worker offline apparently, but I'll go look at it later. It's fine. So if you take a look at, where is it? Is it this one? Yeah. So yesterday on the 17th, we did 0.0539 Ethereum. And then, oh, wait, hold on. And then, I don't know. This doesn't even make sense anymore. Let me look at this. Last 24 hours. I'm going to have to go talk to the boys. Last 24 hours, it says 0.09, which is 177 USDT. It's been the best rewards I've had in a long time. It shows here. Yeah, so these were both paid out on the same day. I don't really know exactly why it's saying 518. They were both paid out yesterday, one for 106 and one for the 159. So it was pretty crazy. So we had a really good day. I hope that the rest of you guys on Crazy Pool had a really good day as well. I'm pretty excited. Ryo Pool. I have 220 ATIs on it right now. And they've done 139 Ryo, I think. Let's see. Is there a daily breakdown? I don't think there's a daily breakdown, really. I guess there you go. So we'd add all these up, right? 25, 36, 47, about 57. Well, in those, so 57 Ryo a day. It's only 3 cents a pop. So not quite, you know, not that great. Over $1 a day, though. Still being more profitable, though. I think we'll take a look here at what to mine. Let's reset for the 3090, 10 cents a kilowatt hour. Ethereum is at $2.07 a day after power. That's $2.84 before power. Pretty low. Not indicative of what. Let's reset this. What I've been seeing, though. Thanks to Crazy Pool's incredible recent profitability. But, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, so 207 after power on Ethereum. Cero's at $1.64 a day after power. Ryo is at $1.55 a day after power. Conflux at $1.29 a day after power. Equilibria at $1.41 a day after power. Cortex at $1.31 a day after power. Ergo at $1.26 a day after power. Flux at $1.06 a day after power. Ethereum Classic under $1 a day after power, along with Ravencoin, which is under 90 cents a day after power. Mining pool stats. Bitcoin. What are we seeing? Still around 234 exahash a second. Difficulty remained the same from yesterday. Ethereum, 1.1 petahash a second, and increasing difficulty, of course, because the bomb is here, boys. 14.35. Have we started going over 15 at all? No. Oh, yeah. At what day was that? May 13th, we went over 15 difficulty. Welcome to the jungle. Ethereum Classic's at 24 terahash a second. Take a look at Flux at 1.64 mega solutions a second. Still staying pretty low. Do the Super Zero. 66.29 gigahash a second. Most of the people that moved over looks like they're staying on it. And Ergo at 15.88 terahash a second. You can start to see the difficulty is coming back up here. So profitability on Ergo is going to go up for a few days. Hopefully it clears out before we do our migration test. Firo at 78.11 gigahash a second. Way too much hash rate on two miners. Technically, they have over 50% on Firo because they have Solo here as well. I don't know how their Solo protocol works, if they can retarget that or not. There's a recent dip in difficulty, though, on Firo. Might be worth checking out. There's a big dip in difficulty on Firo. It really might be worth checking out. There is a big dip in difficulty on Firo. It might be worth checking out. All right, so there you go, guys. Let's take a look at mining pool profitability. For the past 90 days, mining pool up in first, F2 pool in second, flex pool in third. For the last 60 days, Ether mine in first, F2 pool in second, flex pool in third. For the last 30 days, Ether mine in first, mining pool up in second, F2 pool in third. For the last 21 days, Ether mine in first, mining pool up in second, F2 pool in third. For the last 14 days, Ether mine in first, F2 pool in second, crazy pool in third. For the last 7 days, crazy pool in first, Ether mine in second, nano pool in third. For the last 3 days, crazy pool in first, nano pool in second, crux pool in third. For the last day, crazy pool in first, nano pool in second, two miners in third. Come join me on the crazy pool. Here's the thing. Crazy pool does, for whatever reason, when they do find blocks, seem to pay me out more than everybody else. So I appreciate it. Just saying. The trick is they use the nice hash protocol, and setting up your miners can be a little bit difficult there, right? So just fair warning. Oops. Oh, and ASIC miners, bro. There we go. ASIC miners. Jazz miner, X4, blah, blah, blah. In a Silicon, A11. All these ETH miners. KD6 is down to $34 today from 40 something yesterday. L7 down to $23 from $27 yesterday. KD5 is clearly down. S19 Pro, what are you doing for us? $672 a day. It's getting hard out there for a pimp. You know what I mean? I gotta go slap some GPUs. Get them working. Efficiency. So we gotta work on. Content update. We're checking out the RTX 3050 unlocks for Ergo hash rate today. So tune back in for that. 6 p.m. Central Standard Time tonight is hopefully the time when I have that video out. Also, make sure you guys follow me on Twitch, where I play video games and test and talk about crypto. Lots of stuff. It's just me at night doing things. So you can come join. And hang out over on Twitch in the evenings if you feel like it. That usually isn't till 9 or 10 o'clock, depending on kiddo bedtime, and it usually ends around midnight, sometimes earlier. I don't do it on Wednesday nights. Wait, Thursday nights. I don't do it on Thursday nights because I have to be really up really early on Fridays. Now, and I don't do it Sunday nights. Let's get into questions and comments. Super chats, never required, always appreciated. First to be read because it highlights the message. Bam. Other than that, tag at Son of a Tech, which will turn the beginning of the message orange and make it easier for me to pick out. Kazuma, thanks for the $2 euro, says check Cortex. What do we want to check Cortex for? You want to check their hash rates, essentially? We can do that. That's fine. Cortex has had a recent increase in hash rate, and a corresponding difficulties start to increase. You have 66% of the hash rate on two miners. Oof. That's not good. I don't think two miners would. Obviously, two miners wouldn't do an attack, but if somebody got in there, They could initiate an attack on Cortex. If you're mining Cortex, move to another pool. Woolly Pool's fine, bro. Hero miners. I like hero miners too. Like hero miners as well. Let's see if we got any questions going on in chat. Custom Computing says, Ask Simon Tech, it's not just because of the bomb. It's because all GPU miners have a 25% in their hash power because of the LHR unlock. If that was accurate, we would be seeing the 1.15 petahash, I think. I understand what you're saying. And I would agree if we saw... I don't think there was much. That's 20 to 25% from people that had been buying light hash rate GPUs. Large farms were not buying light hash rate GPUs. Most of them were getting, you know, at that point, A2000, A4000. I don't think there's a lot of LHR GPUs in the wild that gave a big boost. Because it doesn't look like it. Like, we've been still sitting around that 1.1 petahash a second. I don't know. We saw that boost up to like 1.15 for a little bit, but it was all nice hash rentals. Basically, they were nice hash rentals trying to take advantage of the great Ethereum hash rate migration. AAG says, Ask Simon Tech, we must contact the Flux team to change their mining algorithm because the current one is super inefficient and power hungry. We've talked to them about it. They're aware. James PT says, Ask Simon Tech, still CPU mining on Luckpool. I am, James. Happy Dictator says, Ask Simon Tech, soak coin update. I'm too busy. That's literally it. I haven't worked on it. I'm trying to keep the YouTube channel alive. I'm trying to keep the farm alive. I don't have time for kids' games and developing coins, unfortunately. Rockport Tigger says, Ask Simon Tech, yes, I concur. ETH layer 1 should be left alone and should be implemented over time with whatever the clowns want. Ted Park with the $10 Canadian says, thank you for enlightening and interesting morning show. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Mr. Solo says, at Son of a Tech, mining to 2 miners with nano payout, nothing gone through for the last 2 days. Have you heard any problems with either 2 miners or nano? No, I have not heard any problems with either one of those things. I feel like I would have if there was a problem. Hereby Service says, hey, outside of tech, we're going to reach out sometime on Twitter and present our Windows Network GPU and Services Optimization app. We strongly suggest this only for Windows mining users. Okay. I'll look at it. I don't know who you're referring to, but just let me know. Emil says, outside of tech, any idea why Cortex has only a browser wallet, and what wallet do you recommend for Ergo? I use the Nautilus wallet for Ergo primarily to interact with different things. Obviously, using a one of their software wallets and just generating a key offline, it's gonna be the best or the safest, right? Nautilus wallet integrates with like all the DeFi stuff, like Ergo Dex, etc. So that's what I like to use. Rockport Tigger says, Ask Simon Tech, jealous of a cartoon monkeys. Maybe you can morph into a cartoon monkey on a motorcycle. I wonder how much my NFT would be worth as a monkey. Derek McCoy says, Ask Simon Tech, have there been any proof of work coins that have gone under like Luna, on par or close to the same scale? Let me think about this. Have there ever been any proof of work coins that have gone under like Luna? Not on the same scale, no. Maybe somebody can correct me. It's been a while. It usually doesn't happen like that. Like the proof of work coins die a slow death during a bear market. Development stops and they just slowly kind of die. Some of them come back. Like Ryo came back, weirdly enough. And Ryo is one of those where like it's not even being developed on heavily, but the few things that they do are relevant and the privacy works really well. And then clearly they've been getting more fees, which I did want to point out as well earlier. I forgot to talk about that. Like, what's really interesting is you can tell that Ryo is being utilized. Let me see if I can show you guys. Oh, will it not give me the... I don't know. I'll have to look later, I guess. Maybe you can see the fee fluctuation in the blocks, though. So it's kind of interesting. Because usually you don't see that on smaller coins as much. Happy Dictator says, ask Tech what happened to the Bitcoin ASIC this time? Fan died and then the power supply started making weird noises and the fan died. What is up, Serpent? Make sure you guys go sub to Serpent. Andy Simpson says, at Simon Tech, man, that 6750 XT was disappointing. Think AMD or Hive will have, well, first of all, Hive would only need to add in the drivers. And then secondary to that, the miners would need to do something different. And that GPU was sent to me by a viewer because I really honestly don't have enough money to keep buying all the GPUs and reviewing them because I'm barely surviving as it is, you know. So I got farm upgrades going on that are more important. We've already talked about E2 revenue being down. I'm in survival mode, guys, which is fine. That's the point. Pay Me in Crypto says, ask Simon Tech, in your eyes, is the Flux token supply 440 million or 4.4 billion? Coin market cap says 440 million, but Flux white paper says 4.4 billion. I don't know. Brandon Gasper says, ask Simon Tech, I missed it earlier. Has your second clips channel been set up yet? And will older clips be added to start it off? Got to get them subs and watch time up. Yes, that is all happening. Hopefully today. I believe all of it gets kicked off today. And it is set up. And here's the link for the clips channel. So you can go sub to it. AAG says, ask Simon Tech, why do you think big mining farms and corps are supporting ETH until the last second? That's a good question. Like, I think some of them are ignorance. So like Hut 8, primarily because when I listened to Hut 8 interviews, like their public interviews, they were not impressive. So some of it, I would say ignorance and, just not knowing, naivety, that sort of thing. And then some of it is, some of it, like Silicon, is clearly direct work with the Ethereum devs. Because we saw the interviews with them coming out in support of EIP 1559. They're heavily vested, and I think they will be a part of what I would call the elite class for Ethereum post-merge. Mark's Barbell says, at Simon Tech, I'm going to triple my little farm hash rate in the coming weeks. I need power assistance. Do you have a video covering PDUs and 220 to 240 volt mining? If not, please do. Like I've talked about it, but I don't think I have like a dedicated specific one. You could look at, and it depends on your, where you're doing it. But I have a video where about me building it in like at my old house. Check that one out. That goes over the PDUs I used. That goes over the panel and all of that, right? Happy Dictator says, ask Simon Tech, have you done the new R mode for the 5700s? On some of my rigs, yes, but I haven't finished them all. Mr. Sola says, ask Simon Tech, just got a reply back from 2 miners that said the Nano blockchain has experienced a spam attack on the network, so Nano payouts are delayed. Welcome to Proof of Stake, my friends. Scott Schultz says, ask Son of a Tech, Vitalik's intellectual elite's contradiction is legit. Most people are really dummies and cannot and will not lead themselves. They want to be told what to do. Guys like us are exceptions, sadly. I don't believe that at all. I think that that is a negative way, and that's what the elites want you to believe, so that you just say, okay, well, there's nothing I can do about it, so I'll just concede that. I don't concede that, and I don't think that out of the 450 people watching right now, or the 178,000 people that are subscribed to this channel, that a majority of them are stupid and need to be led. I do not believe that, and I do not believe that the current elites are making better policy changes than I would make or you would make or anything like that, because they have clearly fucking failed. They put us in this position. So don't tell me they're smarter than me or smarter than you or smarter than the public, because they did this. They destroyed our economy. They caused the wars. They destroy everything. So they are not ones that I would listen to policy on. Strange says, at Son of a Tech, is there a way to mine Seracoin on AMD GPUs? I've tried many miners. None of them work. I don't believe, well, I believe you can, but I don't believe they're good. That's going to wrap it up. I'm going to end it on that high note, boys. Go subscribe to the Clips channel. That should get rolling today. Hit the likes, hit the comments, hit the subscribes, and the notification bell. You're awesome. I'll see you next Tuesday.